Hey all, so we're going to go through a beginner's animal flow class today. It's going to be about 30 minutes long, so we're going to go through wrist mobility first, warm the wrists up, then do some gentle kind of maybe mobility movements, so not necessarily animal flow movements. And we're going to incorporate a little bit of breathing into it, so a couple of little breath holds, mini breath holds incorporated into the movements. So that's going to help because you're retaining a little bit of carbon dioxide. That's going to help to release a little bit of oxygen into the blood, so that so from the blood into the tissues and things like that. So that's going to help kind of get things kind of warming up as well, the respiratory system. Yeah, and then I'm going to show you the flow, go through the flow, breaking it down, and then finish off with a little bit of breath work. So hopefully I should be able to do it all in about 30 minutes. So, okay, so we'll get started. So if you want to bring your hands together, so clasping the hands, and what we're going to do is just start to bring some movement into the wrist first. So we're going to be rolling one hand over the other. So nice and gentle for a start. So just bringing some movement into the wrists. So get that blood flowing. So typically the wrists and the joints don't get too much blood flowing, or not as much as the main muscles. So it's good to start off with the joint movement first, especially the wrists. That's what usually they can take a little bit of they take a bit more kind of hammering on the animal flow than typically some of the other joints. The shoulders obviously do, but again, that's quite a bigger joint. So I'll just do these for a couple of minutes. Breathing is nice and light at the moment. Trying to keep the breathing through the nose if possible. So it's nice and light, nice slow movements for a start. And then eventually we can kind of ramping up the intensity towards the flow. So again, it's just a beginner's flow. So there's only about 3 or 4 moves in it. So it's nice and simple. It's just a nice introduction to animal flow. Okay, from there, keeping the fingers still clasped and then pressing the thumbs together, holding the palms down. And all I want to be doing now is nice tall chest, and from there, from about the sternum area, I'm going to push my arms away from my chest, trying to keep my arms or my palms facing down. I'm trying to get a little bit of decompression in this area, because that's what typically, when we've got the hands back, that can typically get a little bit compressed in that area. So again, starting again, we're going to push out, trying to get a stretch on this wrist area. So holding for 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then gently coming back, and then again pushing out. So letting a nice stretch there, bringing in, and then out. So again, the breathing is nice and light at the moment. We want to try and be breathing to our metabolic needs. So not over breathing is important. So breathing out and pushing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, from there, I'm going to go into just some waves. So again, bringing now a little bit more movement into the wrists, and we're starting to add a little bit more complexity, using more of the body. So the shoulders are coming in now to the movement. So I want to be lifting one elbow, rolling the wrist, letting that, imagining as if there's a wave and it's just dissipating out of the opposite elbow. So nice and slow, rolling through. So again, it's just adding a little bit more movement. So this is like a typical animal flow class warm-up of using the wrists, bringing in some waves, Now we can go in the opposite direction, so starting with the elbow, rolling through and letting that wave dissipate out from the opposite side. You might find one side easier than the other, so because obviously we're dominant on one side. So I'll do a few more of this. Okay, and then from there, what we're going to do is I'm going to be setting up in my standard kind of beast position. This is where we can start adding a couple of breath holds in. So what I'm going to be doing is spreading my fingers nice and wide, so my toes are tucked under, back is in a neutral position, my neck is neutral position. I'm going to gently shift my weight forward on an exhale. So what I'm doing is taking an gentle inhale in this position or in this position. So I'm going to try and gently exhale as I'm moving forward, and just going to do a breath hold or pause for just 3 seconds. So it's going to look like this. So I'm inhaling gently, exhaling, moving forward, and pausing for 3, 2, 1, and gently moving back. Taking a couple of breaths in this position, just normal, gentle breathing through the nose. So I like to try and incorporate a little bit of breathing into the class. Exhaling as we're moving forward. Getting a nice stretch and holding or pausing for 3, 2, 1, and gently inhaling again through the nose and moving back. Nice breath in this position, just a gentle breath. And then again, exhaling as you're moving forward. And then pause for 3, 2, 1, gently pushing back, inhaling. So we'll do 2 more. So again, exhaling as you're moving forward through the nose. Little pause, 3, 2, 1, gently moving back and inhaling. And do 1 more. So exhale, pause and hold, 3, 2, 1, gently inhale as moving back. So what we can do now is just give the hands a shake out. So the wrists have built up a little bit of tension in the wrist now. Go into this wrist relief position. So putting the backs of the hands together, dropping the elbows down. At any time that you feel discomfort or anything like that, it's always a good time to come back into the wrists. Okay, pause the video, take a moment. It's important to not push through any pain. Okay, so we're going to go through some activations now. So we might chuck in a couple of breath holds again. So what we're going to do, fingers are nice and spread, corkscrewing the arms. So I'm trying to turn the arms, so I'm wringing out a dishcloth and really stabilizing them shoulders. Okay, from there my toes are tucked under. I'm going to breathe in a bit and stabilize the spine. So stabilize the midline, and then I'm going to push my hands into the floor, lift my knees off the floor just so I can slide a piece of paper under and hold in this position. And then we're going to do a breath hold again. So hold the breath for 4, 3, 2, 1, and normal breathing. Keep holding the knees off the floor. Okay, pop the knees down, have a little shake out, go into the relief position, and then go back again. This time we're going to do some limb lifts. So again, fingers are spread, corkscrew the arms, toes are tucked under, neutral position, knees want to be just under the belly button. So if I was in this position, I'm not too far that way and I'm not too far over. I'm roughly, if I put a level down, I would be roughly, my knees would be in line with my belly button. So again, from there, take a breath in, and then lift. So just do normal breathing at the moment. Then on an exhale, want to hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, back to normal breathing. This time we're going to keep the breathing as light as we can. I'm going to lift the right leg just off the floor and hold. Normal breathing at the moment. Pop the right leg down, lift the left. Pop the left leg down, lift the right hand. So I'm trying to retract that shoulder. Pop that down, lift the left hand. Pop that down, knees down. Have a little rest and go into this position. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go into the opposite side, which is the crab, and we're going to do the same again. So we're going to leave the breathing now, so because it's only a 30-minute class. So by doing a few pauses, it retains the carbon dioxide in the blood, and then what that does, that helps to release oxygen out of the blood. So it can have an effect of kind of giving us more energy, more oxygen, available oxygen. So it was only short pauses, but it can just prepare the respiratory system. So what we're going to do now is find that crab position. So it's like I'm in an M position. Then from there, I'm going to pull the shoulders back. I'm going to pull my chin back. My head is looking slightly up, like I'm looking towards the rising sun. And then from there, I'm going to push into the ground, create some stability in my spine, and get nice and tight and hold that position. And trying to keep the breathing as light as possible. So I don't want to be over breathing at the moment. And then from there, we're going to lift the left leg just off the floor. So we're pulling the hip in rather than extending that foot out. We want to be pulling that hip in towards us. And then pop that one down, and same with the right. So again, we're pulling that hip in rather than extending that foot. That helps to create some strength in the hip flexors. Pop that down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to push in with the right hand. I'm going to bring the left hand into the center, keeping that bum as low as possible. I'm still keeping my chin tucked slightly in and looking up. Hand is in the center. I'm going to pop that down, then bring my right hand into the center. Again, trying to keep that nice position. Okay, popping that down. Have a little shake out. Again, going into that position. Cool. So we're about coming up to halfway. So again, there might be, normally would be roughly an hour class, but this is just a 30-minute session. So what I'd like to share with you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just show you the flow, and then we're going to break it down. Each move, I'll demonstrate the move. We're going to put it together, take about 10 minutes, and then we'll just do a little breathing exercise at the end just to calm down. Okay, so I'm going to just demonstrate the flow first. I'll do it with the call outs to both sides, nice and slow. I'll start this way first. So first move, I'm going to be set crab, and from there I'm going to do left arm crab reach, then I'm going to return to crab. I'm going to take a right leg under switch into loaded beast, wave unload, and from there I'm going to return to loaded beast, take a right leg under switch back into my crab. Okay, it's pretty simple. I'll do the opposite side, so just spin around so you can see me. So now this time on this side I'll take a right arm crab reach, return. This time it's the left leg under switch into my loaded beast, wave unload, return to loaded beast, and then a left leg under switch back into my crab. So that's it. It's just a couple of moves. We can link them together side to side, so nice and easy, we don't need much space to do it in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break down the moves now. So from this position, so the first move we're going to be working on from the crab position is my left arm crab reach. So in the crab we've already been doing the limb lift, so it's gives us an idea of what we need to do to get into this position. So it's just like a limb lift in the crab position. I bring my left arm into the center for a start, and then to get into my crab I'm going to drive my hips into the air at the same time as pushing into the ground. Drive the hips up as far as I can into extension, and I'm going to rotate this shoulder. Okay, that's going to allow it to open up, and then that allows me to take this arm. It's going to stay in the center. I'm going to let that arm travel over my head at the same time as watching it and turning my chin towards my shoulder. So my chin comes towards my shoulder, driving the hips into the air, pulling that arm down, and then to come back, I'm going to just turn back towards that hand, slowly lowering my hips, keep pushing into the ground, letting that arm come out of rotation, and then I would come down into that position. So we can practice that again. I just tuck myself in so I don't look like I'm falling apart. Okay, from there we'll just practice that one again. So I'm in my crab position, got my left hand up, drive my hips into the air, rotate that shoulder as far as I can with my hips. Then I'm going to watch that arm over my head, turn the chin towards the shoulder, arm is framing my head, fingers are pointing to my hand on the ground, holding there, trying to breathe into it. Then to come back, I just follow that hand all the way back down, and then I would be back into my crab position, all ready for my crab reach. Next move from there, I'm going to take a right leg under switch. So I'm going to lift that right foot, my hand is already up. So I lift that foot, I'm going to lift the left heel off the ground, bring the right leg under and land into my beast position. Okay, so we can practice that again. So from there, hand is already in position, lift the right foot, lift the heel of the left foot, stepping on the gas, right leg comes under the body, I land in my 4-point position or beast. Okay, and then from there I'm going to push my bum back to my heels with my knees off the floor and stretch my hands out a little bit. Okay, and then from there I can take my wave and load. So when I do my wave and load, all I'm going to do is keep my hands nice and strong in the floor. I'm in my loaded beast position, my knees are off the floor, knees are slightly pointing out further than my heels or my feet, and I'm just going to drive my hips into the air and look for my belly button. Okay, so I'll demonstrate that. So from there, drive my hips into the air, I'm right up on my heels are up. Okay, I'm going to look for my belly button, and then I'm going to round the spine, slowly moving forward. As soon as my shoulders pass over my wrists, and drop my hips to the floor, pushing in the ground, looking up to the ceiling, nice and strong. Take a breath, then to come back, tuck my chin, drive that ground away, up to my peak position, and then bending the knees, coming back down, and then I would be back in my loaded beast. And then all we've got to do is that right leg under switch takes us back into the crab. So from there, I'm just going to lift my left hand, right leg comes under the body, I adjust back into my crab. Cool. So what we'll do it nice and slow, do this side, and then we're going to do the other side, build on it a couple of times each side, and then that's through the class. So set my crab position again, So I bring my left arm into the center, drive the hips into the air, rotating the shoulder as far as I can. Hand starts moving over my head, chin towards the shoulder, pulling down to come back, pulling the hand over, coming down, and take down that right leg under switch into beast. Then I push back into my loaded beast position, keep the knees off the floor, slide the hands forward, drive the hips into the air, heels off the floor, tuck, look for my belly button, rounding the spine, pulling forward as soon as my shoulders pass over my wrists. I drop the hips, start looking towards the ceiling, pushing into the ground nice and strong, and to come back, tuck the chin. I'll just drive that ground away as far as I can, up to my peak position, bend the knees, come down, keep the knees off the floor, take the right leg underneath the body, left hand comes up, plant and land in my crab. Cool. So we'll do one on the opposite side. Rep out a couple of times, do some nice slow breathing, bring it all back down. 30 minutes is done. So this time I'm going to do the opposite side. So I'll set in my crab, bum off the floor, shoulders are back, chin is slightly up. I'm going to bring my right arm into the center. Then from there, I drive the hips into the air, rotating the shoulder at the same time, pushing into the ground, up to my fully extended position of the hips. Then from there, slowly take the hand over the top of the head. I'm looking to get my chin towards my shoulder the best I can. Pulling that arm down, driving them hips up. Take a couple of breaths in this position if you can. Then I'm going to bring that arm back, looking, slowly bringing my hips down, let that arm come out of rotation. Okay. Then from there, I'm going to take the left leg under switch. So again, I take my left leg, I lift, step on the gas on my right foot, leg comes under the body, I land the hand, land in my beast position, push back, bum onto the heels, slide the hands forward. Now I'm going to take my wave and load, drive my hips into the air, heels are off the floor nice and high. I'm going to tuck, look towards my belly button, roll the spine forward. As soon as my shoulders pass over the wrists, I know it's time to drop them hips and then search for the ceiling, pushing into the ground, chin is up, take a breath through the nose if you can. To go back, tuck the chin, drive that ground away, up to peak position, slowly bend the knees, hold the knees off the floor, left leg comes under the body, right hand lifts up, I land back in my crab, and I've got back to the position again. Cool, doing good. So I'll do one more and then we're going to do a couple of runs a little bit slower. So I like to do it nice and slow first, solidify the moves. That's the time to really build the strength, and then after that we learn the moves, we can flow it out a little bit and speed it up. So I'll do one more. I'm in my crab, shoulders are back, bum is off the floor, right hand to the center. So drive the hips into the air, rotate that shoulder, hand comes over the head, bringing it towards, I'm bringing my chin to my shoulder best I can, still keeping them hips up, breathe in, and bringing the arm back, slowly rotating the shoulder out of that position. Now I'm going to take the left leg underneath the body, landing my beast, pushing back, bum onto heels, slide the hands forward, drive the hips into the air, I tuck, chin, look for belly button, rolling the spine forward, shoulders come over the wrists, dropping the spine or the hips, searching for the ceiling. A couple of breaths if you can, pushing into the ground. To come back, tuck the chin, drive that ground away, up to peak position, bending the knees, coming down. Now take the left leg, under switch, right hand's up in the air, plant the hand down, adjust, back into my crab. Cool. So we've just got time to rep it out on each side. So I'll do a little one on this side, straight, do a little twist straight into the other side. So I'm just doing it with the call out, see if you can follow along. So set crab, left arm crab reach, return to crab, right leg under switch into loaded beast, wave and load, return to loaded beast, right leg under switch, back into my crab, spin around for me, from there, set crab, right arm crab reach, return to crab, left leg under switch into my loaded beast, wave and load, return to loaded beast, right leg under switch, back into the crab. Cool. So you can do that many times as you want. Obviously once you've learned the flow, so this is just a nice beginner's flow. You know, if you do it in that version, I've done it for 30 minutes. I've got a great workout. It's just a beginner. But that's the great thing about animal flow. Or just keeping it simple. It doesn't need to be complex. You know, you can get, just by doing them few movements, there's a lot of mobility work. You can do a lot of improvements in your flexibility and your mobility. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that. So what I'm going to do now, what I normally do at the end of each of my live classes, is I just do a little bit of breath work to kind of bring the heart rate down, bring the breathing down. It's nice to just come back into the body, take a moment before, you know, people walk away. And obviously you want to be bringing the nervous system to bringing some balance and bringing it down a little touch. So what we can do is just placing the hands. I usually place the hands out in front of me. This time I can connect to my breath. And from there, I just want to observe my breathing. So obviously my heart rate's going to be high or higher. My breathing's going to be a little bit faster. So we just want to observe our breathing as it is in this moment. We're not trying to change anything, we're just observing. We can connect to our hands on the floor. And spend a moment just observing and connecting to our breath. How fast is it going? How deep are we breathing? Are we breathing through the nose? Do we have to breathe through our mouth? Once we've spent some time observing it, it's naturally going to be slowing a little. And what we can do is, don't worry about the inhale, just try and extend the exhale. So if you're taking 2 seconds to exhale, try and go 3. If you're taking 3, try and go 4. So all we're doing is let the inhale be and just extend the exhale. You can close your eyes if you want to, keep them open. If you've got your eyes open, just have a soft gaze. If you haven't already, if you can, to breathe through your nose, that'd be a great idea. So you just close the mouth, rest the tongue gently on the roof of the mouth, keeping the teeth slightly apart. Just let the inhale be and try and extend the exhale through the nose. I'll do this for a minute or two more. Let the breath in, just watch it, observe it, and extend the exhale out. Don't try and make it too difficult, just slightly extending it. Okay. So, thank you if you've watched the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, like my channel. So trying to put out some good content. I'm going to be doing it a little bit more. So I've got some animal flow classes that I'm going to be doing online. So that's just going to be a coffee donation, or if you want the recording, it'll be a cost for that. So to have for a week. So that's coming up after Christmas. I've got some breathing and mobility classes, what I'm going to be introducing online. So we're going to be dealing or focusing on breath, how the breath interacts with your movement and your posture. So I've got that coming up online and in person. So like I say, thank you for watching and see you again. Hope you have a good Christmas.